It's time to do it.
In the highs and in the lows, mountain tops and seas below, I know we'll always find a way home.
My brother and hiking buddy, Rick, came from Alabama to my home here in southeast Kansas. And now we're going to drive 632 miles to the Great Sand Dunes National Park. It's just north of Blanca, Colorado.
It's windy, and it's the Great Sand Dunes.
We arrived in the afternoon, and then we planned to hike about 3.5 miles up to the top of one of the tallest sand dunes, about 8,500 feet above sea level. I strapped on my gear for the adventure. I was really excited about this. There's natural phenomenon happening out here that's found in few places on the earth. I mean, one is known as a surge flow. Surge flow is this streaming rhythmic waves in this creek on the sand. It needs three things to produce this phenomenon. One of them is fairly steep gradient to give the stream a high velocity as it comes down the mountains. And then there needs to be a smooth and mobile creek bed that has little resistance to it, and the sand is a perfect bed for that. And then there has to be sufficient water to create the surges. As the water flows across the sand dams or forms antidunes in the creek bed, gathering water. And then the water pressure becomes a little too great and the dams break, and they send down a wave about every 20 seconds. And in the wet years, the waves can surge up to a foot high.
That's the Great Sand Dunes. And then see the surrounding mountains maybe.
On the very first day we're out, we get blasted by these high winds. And as we walked down the lower dunes directly into over 23 mile an hour sustained winds that was gusting up to 37 miles an hour, we had to lean forward into the wind and try to protect our eyes from the stinging sand. We couldn't even drink from our water bottles without getting sand in our mouth. Progress was slow. We had to stop often because the high elevations, the oxygen levels were so thin. Well, as we're hiking, Rick and I looked at one another about the same time and decided that this wasn't going to work. Even if we did reach the top of the dunes where we wanted to go, the wind was forecasted to stay all night long. So how could we even pitch tents or camp up there? I couldn't set up my camera. So together we decided to stop for the day. We turned around and let the wind sandblast us from the backside as we hiked back to our starting point. plans were thwarted. All the campsites were already reserved for the night, so we had to go in town and we stayed at a hotel there. Disappointed, we had to deal with taking a hot shower, getting a good meal, and sleeping in a comfortable bed for the night. Well, on day 2, we're going to try it again. We started out, but the winds were still really strong. We stopped into the visitor center and looked at the forecast, and the wind was supposed to be strong for the next several days. So we decided on plan B. We went to Zapata Falls. This little rocky path. Looking forward to going up, seeing the falls. Zapata Falls is a waterfall that's located in the San Luis Valley, near the base of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, just south of the Grand Dunes National Park. Waterfall has a drop of about 30 feet. To get to it, you have to go upstream, climb through the little creek, over slick rocks, and then it's tucked away behind in a little crevasse there in the side of the mountain. We were satisfied by just seeing the beautiful stream and the water flowing down it. Met one lady, she was taking photos. She did make the trek. She went back in there, and then she told me that she couldn't even get her camera out because the spray was so great that she couldn't keep her lens dry. So she took a picture with her phone, and even that picture you can see that it's really hard to get a good shot because of the lighting back in that spot. But it looked beautiful. Still, I'm glad that I didn't try it, because now I can live to make this video for you.
So yeah, how high it is up there. What you say? The fall is on back behind that cave that cuts down and feeds this area, and I'm not going to try it today. The waters are so slick, it's just too treacherous for me. Still haven't been feeling good, and still don't feel like I've got my feet under my body, so I'm going to take some shots here. It's a beautiful place. It's a very beautiful place. For a long exposure, let's try 1 second exposure. Overexpose it by 0.3. This one is an f.28, and I've got it all the way to 28 millimeters. It's wide open so I can get this lens, take this shot, see what it looks like. And then I'm going to do a focus bracket, see what that looks like to get sort of a depth of field. Zooming out to about, I think it's around 100 millimeters, just to sort of focus on these rocks right here. And then I'll take the shot. Well, we can get the shot of it. Okay. Oh, that's why it wouldn't work. Oh, I was wanting to shoot up the mountain there, and I couldn't get it to work. Really? And I was wondering, why can't I get it to expose right? Well, I had this filter on it. I had ND1000. Because I'd done a long exposure, I opened it up for a minute or a second, and to blur those waters as they were coming down. Yeah, I want to get that.
So after discovering my rookie mistake, I went back, took a picture of the cliff face that goes in front of the falls. Just wanted to show you the height of it all. Not sure how good I did, but I do like this picture. With the score, the Dunes 2, Rick and Dan 0, we started back home. Still, we really got to see some beautiful sights, and the adventure wasn't quite over yet. On the way back to our home, we stopped in two of my most favorite places, I believe, in Kansas. Stopped at the Little Jerusalem Badlands State Park, and then went over to Monument Rocks. Rick had never seen these sights. I really wanted to share them with him. Here's a few photos from that.
We'll always find a way home. City lights that burn so bright, starry nights in countrysides we'll find all we need in this life.
As we drove up to Monument Rocks, we saw these pronghorn deer standing out in the middle of this pasture. Got a couple of shots of them. The pronghorn deer is known as the North American antelope. I've visited this place several times, and every time I see it, I'm just amazed by the rocks. They look so fragile, and yet they've been here for thousands of years. And then these horned larks, I've always called them mud swallows because they make these little mud nests in the sides of these rocks. And with that, we came back home, and that was the end of this adventure for this time. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, or invite your friends to subscribe too. Till next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay on the path, and God bless you.